What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Ricardo, your NBA sports journalist, and I need you to stop everything right now. Because what Victor Wembanyama just did in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder is the single most extraordinary individual playoff performance I have covered since I started this channel. And I do not say that for the clicks. I say it because the history books are going to be talking about this game for decades. 41 points, 24 rebounds, 3 blocks, double overtime, 122 to 115. San Antonio Spurs win Game 1. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the team that went 8-0 through 2 rounds of the playoffs without being seriously tested, the team with the best record in the Western Conference, the team everyone said was going to walk to the NBA Finals, lost Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals in double overtime because a 22-year-old from France decided that tonight was going to be historic. And historic does not even cover it. Let me give you the full weight of what Wembanyama just did. 41 points and 24 rebounds in a playoff game. That is a 40-20 game. In the history of the NBA postseason, the players who have recorded a 40-20 game can be counted on one hand. Wembanyama just did it for the second time in his career. Second time. He is 22 years old, and he has already done something twice that most Hall of Famers never did once. And the specific combination, 40 or more points, 20 or more rebounds with blocks, places him alongside names that should make every basketball fan stop and truly appreciate the moment. Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon. These are not just good players. These are 2 of the 5 greatest centers in the history of the game. And Wembanyama at 22 is not just joining their company in playoff history, he is doing it against the #1 seed in the Western Conference in overtime. He also became the youngest player in NBA playoff history to record a 40-20 game, the youngest ever in the history of this league. Now let me walk you through the game itself, because the context makes the performance even more staggering. Oklahoma City came into this game as heavy favorites. They swept the Lakers, they swept Phoenix. They had not been in a close game in the entire playoffs. They had not been pushed to overtime. They had not been in a situation where everything was on the line in the final minutes, and they needed their best players to make plays under maximum pressure. Wembanyama put them in that situation. He put them in it in regulation when San Antonio refused to go away despite everything OKC threw at them. He kept them in it in the first overtime with a clutch three-pointer, a 7'4" center hitting a three-pointer in overtime of a playoff game when his team desperately needed it. And then a late dunk that shifted the momentum completely. And then in double overtime, the Spurs closed it out. Think about the psychological impact of this on OKC. They have been untouchable for 10 playoff games. Nobody has made them feel uncertain. Nobody has made them feel like losing was possible. And now they go into Game 2, having just lost at home in double overtime to a 22-year-old who put up numbers that Shaq and Hakeem put up in their primes. That is not just a basketball loss. That is a moment that gets inside your head. And for Wembanyama, this performance cements something that has been building all season. He is not a future superstar. He is not a generational talent who will be great someday. He is great right now, at 22 years old, in the Western Conference Finals, against the best team in the West. Let me tell you what made the performance so complete beyond just the point total. 24 rebounds is an almost incomprehensible number for a perimeter-oriented player. Wembanyama is not Shaq parking in the paint and vacuuming up every miss in his vicinity. He is a 7'4" player who shoots threes and blocks shots from the perimeter. Getting 24 rebounds means he was doing something physically and positionally extraordinary, crashing the glass, reading misses, outworking OKC's entire front court for 40-plus minutes. That is elite motor. That is elite basketball intelligence applied to the unglamorous work of chasing down every single basketball. The 3 blocks tell you what he was doing on the defensive end, protecting the rim, contesting shots, making OKC's interior game as difficult as his offensive game was making their defensive assignments. He was dominant on both ends simultaneously, for the full game and then through 2 overtime periods, at 22 years old. Now, let us talk about what this means for the series. San Antonio is up 1-0 against the team everyone picked to win the championship. They have Wembanyama playing at a level that frankly has no historical comparison. Nobody at his age has done what he is doing in playoff basketball right now. And they have Greg Popovich, the most decorated coach in NBA history, making adjustments, preparing counterpunches, setting traps that OKC's coaching staff now has to figure out. Oklahoma City is still the more complete team. They still have SGA and Holmgren and one of the deepest benches in the league. They are still the 69.1% series favorite going in. And even after losing Game 1, they are not suddenly an underdog. But they are also a team that just got humbled in a way they have not been humbled once in these entire playoffs. They learned something about themselves in Game 1. They learned that the model of sweeping through opponents and arriving at the conference finals untested has a cost. You have not been in adversity. You have not had to make clutch plays in overtime. You have not had your best players perform under maximum pressure. Wembanyama forced all of that on them tonight, and what their response looks like in Game 2 is going to tell us an enormous amount about whether OKC is truly a championship-caliber team or whether their path to the finals was softer than it appeared. But tonight, right now, belongs to Victor Wembanyama, the youngest player ever to record a 40-20 game in playoff history. The man who joined Shaq and Hakeem in the record books. The 22-year-old who hit a clutch 3 in overtime and a dunk in double overtime to lead San Antonio to a stunning Game 1 victory on Oklahoma City's home floor. The Western Conference Finals just got completely flipped, and the basketball world has never seen anything quite like what we just watched. I am Ricardo, your NBA sports journalist. This was a historic night. Smash that like button, subscribe for Game 2 coverage and daily NBA and WNBA breakdowns, and drop a comment below. After tonight, do you believe San Antonio can actually upset OKC and go to the finals? I will see you for Game 2.